Well, it's time to change out the front brake pads on my 88 FLHS Harley. Thought I'd do a little video of it. As you can see, I've gotten the bolts out that hold the caliper on. Trying to finagle them out. Now the fender is a little tough here. Just trying to get everything spun around just right so that I can get that bracket out that holds the outer pad. Yeah, I tried using a C-clamp to help. That really didn't work. I want to apologize for some of the video. I did put a camera on my hat there, but didn't get it angled right, so all my video is a little high off that, so I had to throw that away. You can see I finally got it off. Sitting there, and I was really cautious about the fender and kind of decided I had to put tape on it to protect it. And you can see that that inner pad is attached with a bolt in the center of that pad. So after pulling that out, we were able to prep to compress that piston. I was using a C-clamp, using one of the old pads, and not wanting to scratch the caliper itself, I went and took a piece of cardboard and used that so the C-clamp would press against that versus pressing against the outer part of the caliper. Something I should have done prior to taking it off was actually get the bleeder loose. Makes it a little bit easier job. As you can see, I'm just slowly closing the clamp up, and that brake fluid was actually going into a bucket that I had on the ground. Wiping it up so that I don't have any of that stuff floating around, eating paint. You want to be really careful when working with brake fluid around paint. It will eat it. Here I'm taking out the slides for the caliper, re-lubing them up. I'm using a synthetic grease. You don't want to use any type of petroleum-based grease on those components, as it can swell the rubber and cause them to hang up. So here I'm installing the new pad for the inside. Brake pads were purchased through JP Cycle. They have an excellent customer service, excellent products, everything from entry level to premium products. And here I'm putting some more of that synthetic grease where the outside brake pad rides on that bracket. Also, you want to make sure that that anti-rattle clip is in good condition and in place. Once I got everything installed, I apologize for the back shot there. I went ahead and slowly positioned that caliper and slid it back into place. Some more of that synthetic grease. And as always, when you're working with brake pads, brake rotors, try not to get any greases on it or anything like that. If you do, just take some brake clean and spray them down. The rotors were actually in excellent condition. There's no warpage or anything like that, so I wasn't worried about that. Here's the second side. A little more technical to take off just because of the speedometer cable in its way, but nevertheless it came off real easy, real nice. And you can see I put the tape on prior to actually pulling the caliper this time. And one thing I did notice when I was doing this side is that I actually didn't need the C-clamp to compress that piston. The piston slid in real nice and easy. Reason you do that is that you don't want to force that fluid that was sitting in the caliper back up into the lines, back up into your master cylinder. Also, if your master cylinder is full and you compress those, you will overflow it. You will essentially blow it out the seal. Yeah, I fought getting this one out a little bit. The outer pad kind of kicked and kind of got wedged in there. Finally got it out. Here I am just cracking it and just using my hands this time to do it. Ended up getting a little bit of that fluid on the wheel and correction of the tire. Kind of clean that up. Here we go again. It's a rinse and repeat of the last side. Just taking that inner caliper or inner pad off and putting the new one back on. You can see that actual pin was a little bit frozen in place, so it was a little stiff. Caused it to hang, can cause it to hang a little bit. Cause the brake pad to drag constantly, which is not good. It'll actually wear the pad faster, and it'll also warp the rotor out. So they didn't need that much cleaning. They weren't really corroded. It was just a little bit of the older grease on them. So I was able to just wipe them right off real easy. Same thing using that synthetic grease over on this side. So yeah, I was actually putting the pad back in. I actually got some grease on it, or some brake fluid on it. So I went ahead and used some brake cleaned the pad off real quick. Here I am reinstalling it. So one thing I didn't get to video was actually topping off the master cylinder. The camera I had on my hat was angled up too high and everything was cut off. But what I did is went ahead and pulled the cap off, topped it off, went ahead and put the cap back on, and then went ahead and worked the brakes, pumping the brakes back up, allowing the pistons to expand back out to set the pads, the new pads, before I went out and took it out for a test drive. Ran beautiful, everything like that. Thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe. You guys have a great day.